Hi there, and welcome to Heart Matters. Thank you for joining me today. One writes, at the core of our experience, at the center of our heart, lies longing. Now, we have different words for that expression of longing. We talk about emptiness or nostalgia or restlessness of the soul. We might even talk about wanderlust or lust itself. But I think one of the words that helps us to understand this longing is the word loneliness. In fact, some theologians speak of the soul as loneliness. Not that it has the capacity to be lonely, but it is loneliness itself. Why? Out of the Garden of Eden, when God said it's not good to be alone, and he created us the opposite sex, and then he gave us in community himself, all of that was shattered when sin came and we were banished from the Garden of Eden. So now, longing, at its very core, is this loneliness, this yearning for God. Now, when we speak about loneliness and longing, another word comes into play, which is the word isolation. Ministry has its occupational hazards. We discover that the sheep that we feed also bite us. Some of us have come out of deep places of trauma in our earlier years of life. And all of these experiences with longing and loneliness of the soul can lead us to another word that's important, and it's the word isolation, where we stuff down these things that we need to deal with and become actually hazardous to our spiritual well-being and impediments to our spiritual formation. I often say that we all have our stuff. I've got it, you've got it, we've all got stuff. S-T-U-F-F. Let me give you the acronym S. We've got shame. Places that make us embarrassed and even maybe lead us to self-torment. We have trauma, places of deep assault on the soul. We have untruths or lies that we've come to believe. We have a fractured self where we have multiple sides of us. We have a domestic self. We have a pastoral self. We have a friend and sport self. And then we have a hidden self. And then we have failed attempts to change. There you go, S-T-U-F-F. All of that is our stuff that we shove down and needs to be processed if we're going to actually move from our dysfunction into health and spiritual well-being. Well, God has given us certain longings of the soul. In fact, it's because we are created in the mirror image of God that we have the capacity, like He, to love, to have a sense of identity, to understand what it means to feel safe and secure, what it means to have significance, what it means to belong. These are the core longings of the soul. And when we find ourselves fractured from God and in broken relationships, those core blessings that are a part of our DNA become core deficits. I like to think of it this way. We take our umbilical cord at birth and we're going in search of love, and we try to plug in on that umbilical cord. Will you love me? Will you give me belonging? Will you give me significance? Will you tell me who I am? And all of that which is apart from God leads us to some very dangerous conclusions and on some very dangerous off-ramps. So, longing of the soul is where spiritual formation begins, and it's been planted there by God. And the danger is we never find the pathway to take that longing into His presence so that we are indeed fully satisfied, healed and restored, and we begin to live the life that we've been called to live. Well, this is a deep subject. I want you to think this week about the longings of your soul and where they lead you. And we'll be back to talk more about this in future days. Remember, take care of your heart because your heart matters. God bless you.